if that makes sense.
Yes. And you've got your next meeting at 10, right?
Yeah.
I've got 10:30 at the office.
We should be good, yeah. If we tried to do the clean field stuff today, it would have been cluttered.
That's why we,
Yeah, I don't think we could have done
that's why
it all.
pretty much once we get to my report, I'm,
Yeah.
status quo.
Okay.
There you go, guys.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Friday, April 17th at 9:04. I'd like to bring the Audit and Finance Committee meeting. Before we do that, I would like to thank Jeff Betts for his past work in this board, and wish him well going forward. So, present the audit.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Stevens. I'm the audit director with Jesky & Company and for audit. And Liam with me, who's the audit manager assigned to the job in the current year. We're just here to present the results of the 2025 audit. So you should have two deliverables reports that we're issuing related to that. One is a report to the board of directors, and one that says financial statements and independent auditors report. We'll go over the one that says report to the board of directors first. All right. This report is a report that's required under professional standards to be provided to the board. This goes over the significant findings and issues related to the audit itself. It starts with describing the qualitative aspects of the accounting practice. Management is responsible for the selection and appropriate and use of appropriate accounting policies, as well as the financial statements themselves. We do assist with the preparation of the financial statements, but management is responsible for overseeing those services and taking responsibility for them. The significant accounting policies used by the corporation are described in Note A of the financial statements. As described in Note A, there was a new accounting standard that was adopted in the current year, which is Government Accounting Standards, Audit Accounting Standards Board Statement Number 102 related to certain risk disclosures. That adoption did not result in any reclassifications or restatement of the changes in net position or net position during the year, and didn't really have a significant impact on your financial statements at all. But it was required to be adopted by all governments, so you did adopt it. We noted that no transaction entered into by the corporation during the year, which lacked authoritative guidance or consensus, and we believe that all the significant transactions were recorded in the proper accounting period. All related to accounting estimates, we'd like to highlight the fact that all financial statements do include some sort of accounting estimates, and we do highlight the estimates here that are significant to your financial statements. Management's estimate of depreciable lives and estimated residual value of capital assets based on estimated useful time. Length of individual assets are estimated useful life. Oh, we're going to fix that. Of individual assets estimated on a straight line basis. Management's estimate of the discount rate used in the calculation of leases receivable and the related deferred inflows of resources related to leases is consistent with historical rates that the corporation has charged under its revolving loan program. And management's estimate of the term used to calculate the lease receivables related deferred inflows is based on the initial lease term for the underlying lease agreement that may be adjusted for any extension or termination options that are reasonably certain to be exercised. We evaluated the key factors and assumptions used to develop these estimates, and we do believe that they're reasonable given the circumstances. We also highlight certain financial statement disclosures are particularly sensitive because of the significance to the financial statement user. We do highlight one specific disclosure that we consider to be extensive, extremely sensitive, and that's related to the disclosure of the carrying value of the property held for development. In Note E, that's sensitive because ultimately there was potential impairment related to the land that hasn't been reported, and that has led to qualification of opinion. So that is a sensitive disclosure to the financial statements. Related to difficulties encountered in performing the audit, we did not encounter any significant difficulties in dealing with management, performance, or completed our audit procedures. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements. Under professional standards, we are required to accumulate all known and likely misstatements and report those to the proper level of management. The attached Schedule 1 summarizes the misstatements that were detected as part of the audit procedures and were corrected by management. Disagreements with management. For the purpose of this letter in our audit, we did not have any disagreements with management related to accounting or reporting or auditing matters. Management representations, we'll be requesting management to sign what's called a management representation letter. Essentially, just their representation that all the information we requested, they provided, all the information was complete and accurate. Management consultation with other independent accountants, that has to do with opinion shopping. If management had reached out to another third-party accounting firm related to an auditing or accounting matter, that firm should contact us, and we should let you know that consultation happened. We're not aware of any such consultation. On page 3, other matters, under GASB requires that a management discussion analysis be to accompany the financial statements. That hasn't been provided. That's something we wouldn't audit, even if it was provided, so the fact that it's not there does not impact our opinion on the audit. We're not engaged to report on your annual report, which is your Paris report. We do read it to ensure that it's consistent with the information that we gathered during our audit and the audited financial statements. And the last 2 pages show the adjusted journal entries that are proposed as part of the audit. So that is sort of the report to the board. Are there any questions?
How difficult is it to get an estimate on the, I believe it's the King Fuel property?
Mm-hmm.
How difficult?
You can get an appraisal for it, relatively simple. The
We
question
have
is-
several fairly recent ones that should send to you. And if it's gonna help absolve the impairment issue, May 1st, we anticipate signing a LOI and then moving into a contract for $3 million to close within the next 2 years. So we don't think it's impaired. There may be, based upon the rest of our discussions, the need to ratify this on May 1st. We have a special meeting for other matters. If there's a way to work through the investment discussion and then show you the approved LOI, I think the impairment discussion goes away.
Certainly could, if you wanted to hold off on the issuance of the line statements that was signed.
Yeah, the
as
two
legal documents.
discussions may suggest that we, take 2 weeks and get everything ready for the board to accept all of this out of draft and into final at that point. But, we can go through that. If that'll help absolve the impairment issue.
If you have a signed contract letter of intent to purchase the land for $3 million, that's
Yeah.
well in excess of the carrying value.
Yeah, we've been working
Really-
hard in the
Sounds
background.
Sounds like
And
that
That
would
would
solve our
definitely help.
impairment.
Yeah.
It was generated a couple years ago when you was a potential sale before,
we were working on it on a below market.
below
Basis
market
and-
sale, yeah.
Turns out after, National Grid put $30 million into the ground in the last 18 months, people want it now. It's less problems. So,
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe the timing and the sequencing of the formal approval of this, we can drop that, and then as we work through the discussion on collateralization, I think we might have a different picture on May 1, so.
as long as you're comfortable holding off the submission to the state until then, I would guess.
Yeah, well, at this point, we're 3 weeks behind on AAA anyway, so I don't think it's gonna harm us to drop it on May 2nd to file it, so.
A couple months after they're not knocking on your door.
They don't start really putting you on the naughty list until you're about 12 months out, so, yeah.
So maybe we should table this and provide a resolution.
Yeah, I think there might be some
I think
triage
that-
that we can do to
yeah.
accompany that, but I think we
Yeah.
get you guys through your
Maybe
stuff,
do.
and maybe you can drop it on May 1st to do clear the decks and a final, report to get it out of draft. Maybe that makes sense, and
Okay,
you can run through the rest of your balance sheet and everything else to,
okay. I can go over the numbers and everything. I won't really address the report then if that's going to change, because it really doesn't matter.
whatever you're comfortable
Well-
with. Yeah, we'd get through the committee, and then we'll get into the full board meeting, and then we can talk about a lot of our organizational resolution. We can address that and table certain sections in the formal acceptance of the audit. We're gonna usually just ratify the investment policy, but we might adjust it a little bit. And that might absolve some of the other concerns you have in the other notes.
Okay.
We can, in the regular portion of the meeting too, we can still adopt the bulk of, say, the Paris report and everything.
Yeah,
While just
Do the
kind of
committees,
tabling
make sure the officers are appointed.
audit part of it, so that way, when we come back in May, we can just really address the audit part
Yeah.
of it, the audit and the audit part of the Paris report.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
really, there's no action, we're just gonna sort of table this and.
Well, we
sort
get
of
through the committee
Correct,
level.
right, we get through
Get
the-
fully
right.
downloaded with these,
Correct.
make use of their time.
have.
And then in the open session, we have an organizational meeting resolution where we're gonna deal with temporary chair appointments
Mhm.
perhaps, staffing that are adjusting, all their other regular stuff, the mission statement, but we can just put a pin in the actual audit and then, finalize that on May 1, if that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah.
I'd also like to put in there a timeframe for, that would tie in with that, for getting a report from management on how they're going to remediate the internal control issue. I think that's a significant issue that we need to address. I'm not comfortable approving these until we get information about that.
That's fair, and I think an executive session discussion we can have too.
Yeah,
Sure.
so that was, we, started to come up with a couple plans, and yeah, we probably would do an executive session to go a little bit further in that too,
Okay,
but
but I would like to get that in writing.
Mhm.
Okay, then we'll go through the statements themselves. As they currently sit, we won't address the audit opinion, because that's gonna potentially change. All right, so, page 4 of the financial statements is your statement in that position. Provides information on the assets and liabilities, as well as the net difference between them, which is your net position at year end. And you can see year over year, there's quite a change. Prior year, which I'm sure you're aware, assets went up by over $10 million. That was generated by the issuance of the bonds payable. We've got an additional $7.8 million in cash, and as well as additional capital assets related to the purchase of the building and the capitalization of construction in progress during the current year. Liabilities are also up considerably. As we mentioned, you did issue the bonds payable. You're also 1 year away from finally paying off the loan payable related to the King's School site. So that should be paid off in 2026. So net change in net position year over year was only $2,000, but a significant change in your balance sheet. Page 5 is your statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. So this shows your operating revenue and operating expenses, as well as non-operating expenses and revenue as well. Bringing on to what your net income or loss, or for a governmental agency, your change in that position is. Year over year, you can see revenues up quite a bit, mostly in grant revenue. You had some additional ARPA funds that flew through the organization the current year. The NYSERDA grant related to the geothermal project. And also $250,000 related to pre-development costs that were actually paid directly by the city of Troy. Since you're capitalizing those costs, you picked the Troy's contribution office income in the current year. Operating revenues, operating expenses went up a little bit. You just had significant additional professional fees, those related to the costs related to the geothermal investigation project. Economic development grants went down as you had more ARPA grants that went through in the prior year. The bad debt recovery last year was related to the note receivable that was paid at the beginning of 2025. So that was a change in overall. Non-operating expenses, probably the big thing stands out is the bond issuance costs. All those costs related to bonds under GASB are expensed when occurred, so those show up as non-operating activity for the organization in the current year. So it's a net change in position of just over $2,000 for 2025.
The professional fees, that's all related to geothermal? 95,249.
Oh, geothermal, Proctor's, King
Can you give me a
Fuel.
breakdown of that?
Yeah, sure. Danae has the line items, yeah, they're all broken down by fund.
For $500,000, wasn't it?
NYSERDA, yeah.
NYSERDA. All right, page 6 is a statement of cash flows. This provides information related to your source and use of cash for the organization. You can see net cash provided by operating activities was positive, positive $10,000. Net cash provided by capital and related financing activities was significant. It had a net increase of $7.5 million in cash, all related to the bond issuance in the current year, which led to a net increase of $7.5 million in cash year over year. In the last section down at the bottom is just a reconciliation of your change in net assets, operating income to your net cash provided by operating activities. Top of page 7, just a required disclosure when you have some non-cash financing activities. You did have $2.8 million of cash outflows related to capital assets, but $250,000 of it was paid by the city of Troy. So that's really non-cash revenue to you, so that reduces your cash outflow for,
City of Troy provided a grant.
That's that 250 contribution towards, it's getting recorded as a grant,
Okay.
towards the Proctors City Hall.
Yeah, it's the city's contribution, and that's a development fee. That 500 is technically a professional fee.
Which agreement
I
was,
don't know how you class that.
it gets
It was part of the,
Right, it's, I think, capital, I guess,
It was,
yeah.
yeah, I think construction in progress. Yeah, so
That makes
City
sense,
Council, authorized that 250, the LDC board at the time authorized their 250.
got it. Okay, and the $1 million increase in the purchase, that was, where did that come from?
was that, which month?
The purchase, I believe, was $1.8 million,
There's,
and then there was an additional
part of it was
million.
some of the closing costs, there was developer fee payments, separate from the pre-development costs.
Okay, so that gets added to the
Right.
purchase price.
Right, so there's $500,000 in developer fee payments under the contract, and there was additional $500,000 for pre-development costs, which was, it was split between the city and,
And that was the $250.
Mhm.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Starting on page 8 and going to about top of page 11, this is note A. This is accounting policies for organizations. They are considered to be in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and they are consistently applied compared to the prior years. The only change in note A from the prior year is on top of page 11, new accounting standards updated, just relative to certain risk disclosures under GASB 102 was adopted in the current year, and it did not have a significant impact on the financial statements. Note B, this is a required note disclosure under GASB for your cash and cash equivalents. Note C provides information to your loans receivable program. Your loans receivable was paid off, was it January? Yep, January 2025.
First of the year.
That's long, one you fought for years on. Capital assets, note D describes the breakdown roll forward of your capital assets, as you can see. In your current year additions, you had $1.8 million, $245,000 of it was applied to land, $1.5 million was applied to buildings and improvements, and an additional $100,000 in construction progress. $1 million, I'm sorry. Note E relates to your property held for development and resale. This provides the historical cost of those amounts set in your books for. Note F is long-term liabilities, so this breaks down the different long-term liabilities you have, the bonds payable, including an unamortized bond discount. You've got your notes payable, you've been paying down for years, last payment due in September 2026. And then the amount due to the CRC, $215,000. The rest of the note does provide a little more information related to the bonds, the debt service requirements breakdown, and it's information related to loans payable as well. Note G provides information related to your leases, different leases the organization has, generates revenue from. Top of page 16 provides the breakdown and total revenue earned under those leases in the current year, as well as the estimated amounts expected to be received over the next 5 years and the month thereafter. And then note I, the last note on the financial statements, just goes over some of the related party transactions with the city, the Troy IDA, and the Troy CRC as well. Summarizes those. Starting on page 18, I'll just go over this quickly because we do have a new finding. This shouldn't change with what necessarily related to the issue related to the qualification, but under government audit standards, we are required to issue a report that describes our responsibilities, consideration of your internal control, and our consideration of your compliance with laws and regulations can have a direct and material impact on the financial statements. Related to your internal control, we're required to gain an understanding of it that allows us to plan and perform our audit. We do not form enough procedures to allow us to express an opinion on your system, on your internal controls. However, if we become aware of any deficiencies in internal controls, we are required to report those here. We did identify one and potentially another one that we're looking at an answer on. Deficiencies in internal control in the current year, those are listed as finding 2025-001, 2025-002. Reporting compliance, we did identify one potential, we're still waiting on an answer, solution to that, related to, collateralization of, deposits in accordance with public authority law. We listed the finding here, just because it's easier to present a finding, rather than have to come back later. It's not resolved. And we, that's 25-002. The first one, 25-001, is related to preparation of financial statements. During the current audit, we did have to identify and propose significant journal entries for the financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, under AUC Section 265, the AICPA is considered the need for significant journal entries to be evidence of internal control deficiency. So we did report finding here. Essentially, we recommend that the corporation strengthens internal control procedures of financial reporting, including enhanced review and approval process for financial statement presentation to ensure the accuracy and completeness of the financial statements and reduce the risk of material misstatement going undetected. All right. Essentially, we can't, as auditors, we can't be part of your internal control system. If you run into a situation with a transaction, you don't know how to account for it during the year, you can certainly bounce it off us without a problem, and we'll give you what we'll respond to it. That's fine. But once you give us the trial balance, if we have to propose adjustments, then it's really considered an adjustment, finding issue. So that's kind of what this particular finding was related to. Last finding, there's still a question that we're pretty confident that it's collateralized, but we don't have any audit evidence to support it yet. We're waiting on that. Under public authority law, all public authority deposits are required to be collateralized. So you have that $87.8 million invested outside of a normal bank account. You just have to get some kind of evidence to show that, yes, it's adequately collateralized. As of right now, we're lacking that, so we do report a finding here,
And that's,
assuming that
that's the bank, French bank, or the taxes, or?
Just quickly explain, when the bonds are issued, it was under an indenture of trust, where the funds are transferred into a project account held by Wilmington Trust, which is a division of M&T Bank. They do that for all tax-exempt bond transactions. They're a large financing institution, and they generally handle all their funds consistent with the General Municipal Law 10 and 11, which municipalities and public authorities need to comply with. As part of that, and a standard move with every project account held by a tax-exempt bond trustee, they collateralize and invest those into an account, a guaranteed investment contract, or GIC. So there's a surety that during the construction phase, the funds aren't going anywhere, they're safe, and they're going to earn a certain amount of interest that doesn't create arbitrage. And what that means is they don't earn too much interest above the borrowed rate.
Got it.
And the GIC itself delivers a guaranteed investment amount, and it's also timed for the draws on construction. So the funds are there and drawn down with an interest target that reflects how you draw them down over the course of a period of a year. What they're looking at is making sure that the GIC contract itself complies with our investment policy. If it technically doesn't, we can simply amend our policy to allow for a special exception. LDCs can do that. IDAs and municipalities can't. So there's a little technicality there with development corporations having some flexibility. If after a little more investigation over the next few days, we emailed M&T and Wilmington last night, but it might take them a day or two to get back to us. If the collateralization, well, it's a guaranteed investment contract. I think the word guaranteed is indicative of a lot of things, but the money's not going anywhere. There isn't a FDIC risk there if the bank goes under. It's a contract. But if there's a need and we have that May 1 window to come in and ratify, the board, when it readopts its investment policy, can create a special exception for contract GICs associated with bond transactions, which we anticipate doing once every 20 years, maybe. Or maybe again, who knows? But I think that might be the flow of things. If we get comfortable with it, the note goes away. If not, you can say that management considered the finding, and we've adopted an investment policy that allows this to happen. So, yeah.
Do we,
We should put
would-
this in a report, though.
would...
For sure, yeah.
Would simply, if once we do get back from M&T and they provide kind of what you're looking for, does that then, I guess my question is, are we thinking that we're gonna have to do both, or would simply the
One would
documents we're
eliminate the
looking
need for
from
the other,
E&T,
I would think, yeah.
right? That eliminates the policy change, okay. That's what I thought, just.
Might be helpful just to do it anyway to avoid the issue if we ever get into a transaction with structured GICs. That way you don't have to make a finding, or at least we have a round hole to put a round peg in.
Right.
When we get there.
Okay.
So funding O2 is gonna go away. O1,
I think we can absolve that if we have the LOI approved on May 1st. They may see evidence of value
No,
and an intent to sell above what we're carrying on the books, right?
the internal control deficiency, Andy, is
That-
that what
yeah,
you're talking,
yeah,
it's what you're talking about?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, that has to be,
That's a different thing that
we
we'll be
need a
dealing
report
with.
from you on how you're gonna remediate that.
Yeah, and I've talked to the auditors about, you know,
Mhm.
that's where you are the responsible officials after talking to them too. And I do think, again, I know the issue with, the O2 fund, the, 2025 2 finding, I kind of last night started calling everybody and stuff, so, you know, thanks everybody for jumping on that, appreciate it.
any more discussions on?
But yes, we'll have a stronger policy, you know,
Yeah,
and other
I'd
discussions.
like, more information about the infrastructure, who does what,
Mm-hmm.
so we can all get a better understanding
Mhm.
of, how to avoid this in the future.
Most of the adjustments were related to the bonds, which are significant unusual
Well,
transactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it closed December 19th. If it closed in June, there probably would have been more time to absorb it into monthly balance sheets, but it all came in kind of at the same time at the turn of January 1, so it,
Well, it was December 18th, so you had some time to put them on the, you should have been prepared for that, in my opinion.
somebody should have.
I think you should have been prepared,
We'll talk in executive session.
We have to do, so we're not gonna do anything on an action, no action on this?
We have their report, the audit committee can forward it to the full board, we'll open that, and then I think strategically we'll get through our reorganizational meeting resolution with two
Mhm.
sections tabled, and then we'll pick
I
those
like
up
that.
at once.
Okay. We need to make a motion to close the audit and finance committee.
Motion.
Anybody second?
Can I offer a resolution?
We're not in an open meeting yet, are we? I'm sorry.
For-
For the audit committee?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
so that we'll, state that we're gonna table this approval, waiting on the more information from you, a report from you on remediation.
I believe what we're,
And the
yeah.
LOI for King Fuel.
I think the appropriate way is that the audit then kicks to our regular meeting, and we can kind of address it in the regular
We
meeting.
can table it in the regular
Because
basis.
technically, we're getting through our audit and finance committee,
So
so
we'll
we're
table it
kicking
in
it
the-
to our regular, although it's
Right.
a committee of the whole, same group, but then that way it just,
All right,
everybody's part of the finance and audit committee.
Right.
That's what I meant by that.
Right, there is no
Okay.
subcommittee.
Yeah, so we can at least get it out of this committee into our regular board meeting, and then talk about the tabling and all that.
okay.
Works for me.
Motion,
So we
Oh,
have,
second.
there we go.
all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so we're closing the audit and finance committee. It is 9:32 on April 17th, Friday. We're opening up the regular board, meeting of the Troy LDC. First item agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting on March 20, 2026. Are there any discussion points on those minutes? All the comments seem to be in the right place. That's fine. Maybe just,
No comments here?
it looked good to me. We have a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion?
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Okay, executive director's report.
I will keep this pretty brief for a change. You know, a lot of these items are, not real updates, since before. I know I did, reach out to the board to, suggest in a couple weeks that we go check out the progress of the group at Proctor's. I think that'd be very beneficial for the board members and even just the LDC, staff, check out the progress going on there. One of the items we did, our intention was to have the community business investment grants before the board in this meeting. We did, like we all discussed the last, we did extend it out a week, so it did fill it up that much more. So we are going through the process. Danae right now is going through making sure everybody's, you know, in good standing with the city, things like that. Then we will start whittling down the list to then bring everything to the board, give our suggestion, but ultimately the board would approve those next investments. So that's another reason for our May 1st meeting. This way that we can make that announcement on May 1st, and those folks can get to work on their facade improvements and things like that. So that will be another thing we can look into to entertain on that May 1st meeting.
So sorry, Friday, May 1, Proctor's, we're gonna do the tour after?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I know we
If
talked
I
about
could,
it.
it worked for everybody, I think. I don't know, Noreen, I don't know if I heard back from you yet.
Yeah, I don't think you did. But, I
You don't-
think I'm available.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly, I just haven't.
What kind of PPE do we need to have?
If you.
Maybe I'll hand us hard hats.
Yeah, hard hats.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm bringing my own part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Special ones, yeah.
We need glasses, no
You
open
just wanted
toe
to
shoes,
squeeze
right?
that in because he wants to bring out like a raw.
Oh, I gotta have a rod. I gotta fly the flag, man.
Yeah.
But no, any type, special shoes, that's where I was going with it, really.
Oh, I don't know.
No open toes are allowed on job
Yeah,
sites.
don't bring flip-flops.
No
Yeah.
flip-flops, no sandals,
No, yeah, you know.
golf spikes,
But I
maybe.
mean, I go in there in my regular, Clarks or whatever.
Okay,
you know.
okay, fair
There's
enough.
walkable, decently walkable
Okay.
areas.
I just didn't know what
around
I didn't
it.
know what the job say, everyone's different.
Yeah.
Hiking
Thank you.
shoes, if you hike,
Mhm.
that's what I'll wear.
Okay, fair enough, thank you.
I'm leaving my high heels at home for that one, so.
Too.
I'll always have them on back in my car, just in case. So geothermal King feels great.
Yeah, but otherwise, everything else, we're still, the PSC, still waiting for that. Obviously, the King Fuels, that's, still in progress. Look forward to diving into some of these other things that we'll be entertaining on May 1st. But that's all I have.
Okay, jumping on to the next item is the new business. Annual meeting resolution.
Talked about this in audit. This resolution is kind of a one-stop shop for annual public authorities compliance. The intention is to review and accept a mission statement and performance measures which are reviewed annually, to readopt the investment policy and disposition of real property policy, which are visited and ratified typically every year, and we'll go into that in more detail. An item to accept and approve the annual audit, which was reported to us in the Audit and Finance Committee meeting. Section 2 and 3, I think largely we may table and bring back on May 1, but that's subject to discussion once we get through the end of the resolution. Each year, we also elect officers of the board. That's worthy of some discussion, given our current chair or our former chair has resigned, and Andy is stepping in generously as the vice chair or acting chair now. We can discuss how we want to line up officers of the board. Typically, and as you just saw, we have the Audit and Finance Committee appointed as a committee of the whole, which you just undertook. The Governance Committee is structured the same way, committee of the whole. The entire board serves as the Governance Committee. Appointment of staff, that's also dealt with annually. Seamus is the Executive Director and CEO. Danae has served as the Acting Secretary. Andrew Kreshik has historically served as the Project Manager for the board, but also retired recently. So that position, we can discuss whether that'll remain vacant or get filled. Other than that, it's mostly ratifying the annual reports to be filed with Paris and any other actions that are required for the annual meeting. All that said, it's a big mouthful. If you want to work through the officers of the board and staff, those are substantive things to discuss, and then we can decide whether Section 2 and 3 are going to be tabled and picked up at our special meeting on May 1.
Would we also, table section 4 because we don't have a chair?
Well, you're serving as, well, you're the vice chair right
Vice chair,
now.
right.
If we want to, at this point, there's an opportunity to set those positions for the remainder of the year, or
Keep the
have you
chair
remain
open.
as, keep the chair open,
Okay.
and you can continue to serve as vice chair
Mhm.
at a meeting, however you want to skin the cat there. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, what I would propose is that Andy continues to serve as vice chair. We leave the chair spot open as we see over the next couple of weeks, you know, what happens with potential appointments and such. Traditionally, I believe that the treasurer and the secretary, the same person has served as that, or do we need to?
You can do it any way you'd like.
If there's so.
Obviously, we have Noreen here. She can serve in any role that she's willing to take on.
Yeah, so I
on the
mean,
board level.
that's what I was gonna propose, if Noreen was willing to, you know, serve as both of those. I do think, just from some of the other local boards that I served on, where the secretary is actually the one recording the minutes of the meeting, and where the treasurer actually is the one that is going through financial reports and trying to provide those. LDC board obviously is different. Danae is, you know, recording all the minutes through the meetings. And then, you know, BST is acts as our financial officer, so,
Yeah, the role of treasurer at the board level really, I wouldn't say ceremonial, but there is the ability to have a more direct role and oversight of the CFO, and that's all part of the discussions I think that we're having today too. So if and certainly you seem interested in it, so that kind of additional oversight from the board level may help some of that finding.
Yeah, I have no problem with treasurer, but in terms of secretary, I won't have time.
That's more ceremonial. Danae does all the
Danae,
acting
yeah.
roles. If someone
yeah.
needs to seal something officially, we might ask you occasionally,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
that's kind of the point I was trying to make earlier. The expectation would not be that you'd be, you know, putting forward minutes and stuff. That's where
Yeah.
Danae is.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, I'll do it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Double your pay.
Donuts, more coffee.
Okay, so section 4, we have the chairs open. I'm the vice chair. Noreen is the treasurer and the secretary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, if I can talk about section 7, you know, obviously keeping the other positions, but the project manager, without going too much into it, because I do want to allow to have that conversation with him again, but if we could continue to leave Andrew in that role, he was willing to still provide a service to the LDC and see through some of this project. I think that'd be very valuable for us.
Mhm.
What was our budget on him? We can continue him there. He's
Yeah.
still, but he just needs to decide if that relationship stays the same or if we alter it a little bit.
We might have
yeah.
to alter it, so I was gonna put that out there, which I think could be, again, an action we could take in future meetings, but I think for the time being, it's my intention I was gonna give him, you know, a couple weeks of breathing room at least for his
Yeah.
retirement, and then reach back out to him, confirm that he's still, you know, what I can still
He has an agreement in
He
place.
has
We
retired?
could, yeah.
Yes.
For the city,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
We could just, through a budget amendment, address that
Okay.
if he doesn't come back.
Okay.
That
So
makes
we
sense.
could, if it's, everybody's up for that, we can, leave him in that role, and then I can report back to the board after I have a discussion with him, next week. And then otherwise, are we just basically then discussing, kind of accepting everything else, but tabling section 2 and section 3?
I believe so, yeah, that makes sense, if we can get through the
So we can have a
reorganizational.
further conversation on that.
Yeah,
Okay, so if we are looking for an action item on this, we're officially looking to adopt, resolution, 0426, number 1, items tabling section 2, section 3, and accepting the balance of this as presented to us. Correct way of saying it?
That's a good motion.
Okay. We need a motion.
Do we need to change section 11 to reflect that? Not all the resolutions will be,
Yeah, the motion is to adopt this resolution, with sections 2 and 3 tabled.
okay.
Yeah.
I think in the past, we kind of just strike them out, is that,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Okay.
Yep.
and then next time we'll strike everything else out.
Yeah,
Okay.
on May 1st, it'll be sections 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Perhaps with some different attachments, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I will make a motion.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Tough for three of us, isn't it?
Nice job.
All right, new
I
business.
thought Randy walking, we should at least let him sit here just to make us feel more.
I know, he'll be here soon.
Old business, famous.
I am good.
You're good. Financials.
First report is the David Bank Commission. As of March 31st, we had total assets of $13,335,206 with $408,004.13 of that in cash. Total liabilities of $12,012,862 plus fund balance of $1,322,343. Most of the change in statement of financial position is construction project standard for the proper building. And lastly, we had March, up to the month of March, we ran a deficit of $103,538. Most significant source of revenue was, grant funds received from Ventura, and the largest expense was interest, payment on bonds. Capital interest fund.
Good. Any discussion points on it? Noreen?
Good.
Okay. We have a motion to accept the financials as presented.
Make a motion.
Any second?
I will second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed? So moved. One thing I did ask, I don't know where to put it, was a little business. On the Proctor Theater, Proctor Reconstruction, are they on time, and is there like a Gantt chart that they're sharing with you?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah, and we.
I don't need no details, I just want to know,
Yeah,
I was
no,
hoping that was in place.
We are, and we have, bi-weekly on-site meetings.
Right.
We then, take, when we're in constant contact,
Right,
I actually pop in every now and then too. There was, they were doing something on the elevator, and I kind of wanted to make sure it was working. I popped in there, and, we've gone through the process too of switching, officially all the utilities and all those other things out of UBL into the LDC's name. So I will thank you, because I want to say this, take the opportunity to thank Danae for putting all this together. I know you love a Paris report, it's your favorite thing. You know what I mean? I've always said, Danae, if you do good at this, we'll take you to Paris, and she's been enjoying.
It is Paris, New York, I still bow there.
She didn't realize it was the report version, not the city, but, no, Danae, seriously, thank you. It's a lot of hard work putting this together. Really appreciate you, and really appreciate everything you're doing for the project at New City Hall and Proctor's. A lot of behind-the-scenes administrative stuff, a lot of corralling.
Building super.
A lot of correct you are here. So Danae, thank you so much. Really, you're so valuable and appreciated.
Great, you were talking before, do we need to go into executive to discuss
Defer
their?
you, yeah, if you want to go into exec to talk about some of the financial management stuff that we have.
We got
10 minutes or so, yeah, so.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like to do.
On who you'd like to maybe, just board level with council, or?
Yeah. So, I'll, make a motion to go into executive session.
Sorry,
Second?
could you be more clear about that as per the meeting call, because it's restricted as to how you can go into executive session and why?
It's personnel matters, the hiring or dismissal of a particular individual. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll see you
everybody.
around.
Thank you.
See you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Thank you. It was Dan, you said, right?
Yeah.
That's
Liam.
Liam, and you.
got some.
So-
Yeah.
Well, we won't have the other board butted up after us too, so if it's, well, and then we're all gonna go to Proctor's after, so we'll bond for
Okay.
several hours.
Yeah, right.
Okay, thanks for that discussion, everybody.
Thank you, Mr.
We
Acting
have,
Chairman.
we have one more item on our agenda, which is the adjournment. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, aye.
Aye,
So moved, let's get
aye,
out of here.